Hi everyone, this video is the continuation for the previous video which we have discussed some of the topics of the second unit related to the process of real-time gross settlement and the various processes involved or types involved in the real-time gross settlements and the queuing arrangements involved in the real-time gross settlements. In this video we are going to learn about the remaining topics of the second unit like net settlement, breaking down net settlement versus gross settlement, various ATM networks, Fedware and its functions, chips and its function, shift for electronic fund transfers. Coming to the net settlement refers to the resolution of all of a bank transactions at the end of the day. Since banks engage in so many electronic transactions, they cannot simply count their cash at the close of business. Instead, they have to add up all these electronic credits and debits. The bank then sends its settlement file to the Federal Reserve Bank or the Reserve Bank of India, which credits it with any funds due for interbank settlements. And the next topic is breaking down these net settlements. A bank's net settlement is similarly to an individual's balancing his or her checkbook. If all of your transactions are in cash, all you need to do is to open your wallet and count the bills. However, since most people have money going out in the form of cash, checks and debit cards and credit card transactions, and money coming in as cash, checks and direct deposits, all transactions including purchases, returns, bills paid and paychecks received. Here, net settlement can make it easier from banks to manage liquidity. Types of net settlement systems include bilateral and multilateral settlements. Bilateral settlement systems entitle final settlement of all payments made between two banks over the course of a day to be settled at the close of the business, typically via a transfer between their accounts at the central bank. A multilateral settlement consists of each bank having a net balance with the system as a whole rather than with the individual banks. This comes under the breaking down the net settlement. And coming to the net settlement versus gross settlement. Gross settlement opposes net settlement. In particular, a real-time gross settlement system is in contrast with the net settlement system. For example, transactions among institutions are accumulated during the day. At the close of business, a central bank will adjust the active institutional accounts by the net amounts of the funds exchanged. Speaking large value interbank funds transfers usually use real-time gross settlement. These often require immediate and complete clearing which a country's central bank usually organizes. Real-time gross settlement can lessen an institution's settlement risk overall, as interbank statement or settlement usually occurs in real time throughout the day. This specific form of gross settlement can eliminate the risk of lag in completing the transaction. These are the various difference between the net settlement versus gross settlement. And coming to the ATM networks. ATM networks, it is an interbank network also known as the ATM consortium or ATM network. It is a network that connects the ATM of different banks and permit these ATMs to interact with the ATM cards of other banks with a given network. Here, interbank ATM network is a network of ATMs wherein a cardholder of any of the participating bank can carry out specified transaction at any of the ATMs connected to this network. In 1997, an attempt was made in this direction with Indian Banks Association in the name of Southern Network. And while interbank networks provide capabilities of all ATM cards within the same network to use other banks, ATMs that belong to the same network, while interbank networks provide capabilities of all ATM cards with the same network to use other banks' ATMs that belong to the same network. Here the services vary. Usually when a person uses this ATM card at an ATM that does not belong to their bank, the basic services such as balance inquiries and withdrawals are usually available. However, special services such as top up for a mobile phone talk time are usually not accessible to ATM card holders of banks other than the ATM card holders of the acquiring bank. Here currently there are 5 major interbank ATM networks operating in India, which are named as National Financial Switch, Banks, Cashtree, Cashnet and MITR. Here speaking to the National Financial Switch. National Financial Switch was launched by IDRBT on 27th of August 2004, connecting the ATMs of 3 banks. Here IDRBT can be explained as the Institute of Development and Research in Banking Technology, which includes of Corporation Bank, Bank of Baroda and ICICI Bank. IDRBT then worked towards bringing all major banks in India on board, and by December 2009 the network has grown to connect 49,880 ATMs of 37 banks, thereby emerging as the largest network of shared ATM in the country. The Reserve Bank of India granted authorization to NPCI to take over the operations of National Financial Switch from the IDRBT. From the October 15th of 2009, NPCI deputed its officials at Hyderabad, and the institution handed over the National Financial Switch to the NPCI from the 14th December 2009. And coming to the next type of ATM networks is banks and Cashtree. Here banks, a shared ATM network, comprises 12 public, private and cooperative banks, and Cashtree, a shared ATM network of half a dozen public sector banks, have initiated talks to take 2000 ATMs under it, and Cashtree has 700. And coming to the Cashnet ATM networks. Cashnet was officially launched in Mumbai on 21st May 2003, and it is the first independent nationwide shared ATM network in India. Cashnet is India's largest private shared ATM network, with IDA Bank acting as the settlement bank. And the last one of ATM networks is MITR. Here MITR is a multilateral interbank network sharing arrangement of 6 member banks in India for ATMs. It came into existence on 8th October 2003 with 5 member banks. The MITR network has the banks including Punjab National Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Indian Bank, Karur Vaishya Bank, IndusInd Bank and UCO Bank. And here Punjab National Bank acts as a settlement bank for MITR networks. And coming to the next topic is Fedware. Here Fedware refers to a real-time cross-settlement system of central bank money used by Federal Reserve Banks to electrically settle final US dollar payments among member institutions. The system processes trillions of dollars daily and includes a overdraft system that covers participants with existing and approved accounts. Along with Fedware, the Fed operates two other payment systems, that is the Fedware Security Service and the National Settlement Service. And the functions of the Fedware can be explained as the Fedware is a real-time cross-settlement system of central bank money used by Federal Bank to transfer funds electronically between their member institutions. And its other function is banks, businesses and government agencies use Fedware for large transactions in the same day. And the most important function of the Fedware is Fedware settles transactions individually and immediately, and once settled they are final and they are not irreversible or irrevocable. And coming to the next one is chips. Chips can be called as clearing house interbank payment systems. The chips is the primary clearing house in US for large bank transactions. As of 2015, chips settles over 250,000 of transactions per day, valued in excess of 1.5 trillion in both domestic and cross-border transactions. Chips and the Fedware funds services. Chips and the Fedware funds service used by the Federal Reserve Bank combine to constitute the primary network in the US for both domestic and foreign large transactions denominated in US dollars. And functions of the chips can be categorized as clearing and settling. Functions of the chips can be determined as clearing and settlements. Clearing is the transaction and confirmation of information between the payer and the payee, that means sending financial institution and receiving financial institution. And the settlement is the actual transfer of funds between these payers' financial institutions and the payee's financial institution. Settlement discharges the obligation of the payer financial institution to the payee financial institution with respect to the payment order. Final settlement is not irreversible or irrevocable and unconditional. And coming to the last topic of the second unit is shifts. While speaking to the shifts for electronic fund transfers, while we need to transfer money overseas, today it is easy to walk into bank and transfer money anywhere around the globe. But how does it happen in the previous? Behind most international money and security transactions is the SWIFT, which is called as Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. SWIFT is a vast messaging network used by banks and other financial institutions to quickly, accurately and securely send and receive information such as bank transfer instructions. Every day, nearly 10,000 SWIFT member institutions send approximately 24 million transactions during the network. Through the network. And shifts are used to, in the beginning, shifts founders designed the network to facilitate communication about treasury and correspondent transactions only. Shifts gradually expanded to provide services to the various institutions like banks, brokerage institutions and trading houses, security dealers, asset management companies, clearing houses, depositories, exchanges, corporate business houses, treasury market participants and service providers, and foreign exchange and money brokers. These are the various institutions at present using the option of SWIFT for electronic fund transfers.